It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag NFL.
But a lot of people think you may never play another down as a Raider. What would you say to that?
All I can control is this talk we're having right here, and then after we're done with this, all I can control is the next thing that I'm on to. So I'm gonna get up in a minute and get a nice workout in, and that's all I can control.
Davante Adams, Q&A on Up and Adams as he played his last snap.
His last snap? He's going to quit?
As a Raider.
Oh, as a Raider. Okay.
Until they trade him. Okay. Maybe to the Jets. Okay. Maybe to the Saints. Maybe to somebody else. He reportedly wants to reunite with a quarterback he knows well, like Aaron Rodgers, who is in New York with the Jets, or Derek Carr, who's with the Saints in New Orleans.
Forget that. I wouldn't worry about reuniting and feel so good. I would just unite with Mahomes.
Yeah. He should definitely a trade to Kansas City.
Yeah.
However, the Raiders are unlikely to trade him inside the division, you would think. But, hey, they're the Raiders, so why are we ruling anything out, right?
What's the difference? They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. Adam Schefter says the Chiefs are not in the mix, despite their wide receiver injuries.
I know that. That was just a joke.
The Raiders, you never know. Tyreek Hill affirmed that he plans to remain with the franchise amidst a rough start for the season. After speculation emerged online, he might be interested in a potential trade and contributing to a contending team.
What franchise? You didn't mention the franchise.
Well, Tyreek Hill's with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, but there might be people who don't know. Just because you're all things to all people, Mr. Sports, doesn't mean everybody knows.
Apparently I wasn't. I dismissed the people who didn't know that Tyreek Hill was with the Dolphins.
Nobody works as hard as you or has your knowledge.
That's probably not true,
so,
but sure.
Name me one.
You.
No. I cannot tell you who Houston's backup goalkeeper is.
Me neither.
And then you'll say neither do you, but nobody believes you.
I just told you the truth. If you don't want to control it, like Davante Adams, I don't control
Nobody
that.
can tell you how the Red Bulls are doing this season, except you.
Tyreek Hill said, I'm just focused on right here and right now. We got a beautiful team here, and I want to be a part of it. We got a great situation here. My family loves it. I enjoy it. The weather's great. The fans are great. So we got a beautiful situation here, man.
And if his family enjoys it, that's like half the population of Miami.
We all know the NFL is a business. Whatever happens, happens. Moving forward, I'd love to be here. I love being here.
What do you think of all the kids he's had? Like, his wife's pregnant. He's got 2 others pregnant and all that.
Wonder how he has time for relationships with those kids. Because it would seem like he's outnumbered.
No. His capacity to love is great, obviously.
Hey, now. See what you did there? Cracked yourself up. DJ and PK. Oh, we didn't. Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Bucks, Falcons, baby.
Yeah,
yes.
Football. Yeah.
The Bucks have beaten the Lions, who might win their division. The Eagles and the Commanders. One of those teams will win that division. Now, can they handle somebody inside their own division? It's their first division game as they get off to a 3-1 start. Try to make it 4-1 tonight. Falcons are 2-2. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Well, I was planning on being all things on people, locking it down on ESPNU at 5 o'clock and watching Texas State. Future Mountain West Conference. Never mind. They're playing Troy tonight. Maybe they're a future Pac-12 member. Maybe we should still pay attention.
I'm not. I'm going to be watching the Brewers and the Mets.
Sam Houston State and UTEP, 7 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. Pac-12 is pausing its pursuit of new members as it enters a media rights evaluation for the 8 current schools as committed to the conference, according to a report from CBS Sports. The evaluation could last until the end of the year. It'll be conducted with multiple hypothetical lineups and membership possibilities. Pac-12 doesn't have 8 teams yet.
They're getting a little too intense for me.
SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey said centralizing power in college football with a proposed 70-team college student football league would only be an attempt by the rest of the sport to catch up with the SEC. I've studied it a little bit, Sankey said, and I come back to I don't want to dumb down the Southeastern Conference to be a part of some Super League notion with 70 teams that some people speculate would happen.
Unless it makes me more money.
They want to be us, and that's on them to figure it out. Not on me to bring myself back to
Therefore,
earth.
Sankey's giving you freedom to cheat as much as you possibly want. There should be no rules. What rules?
Rules, schmules.
It's a waste of time. The public doesn't care about it anymore. They just want to win.
Turn on the TV and watch Alabama and Georgia. Let's go.
Yeah.
Don't bother me with the details.
I bought into that hype. You accused me of buying into the SEC hype a couple weeks back? Yes. Guilty as charged.
Well, the Alabama...
15 million people watched that game.
Yeah.
I wasn't alone, apparently.
Said you buy into Missouri. I mean, Alabama and Georgia aren't the hype.
It's not the SEC. Who cares about them?
Oh, yeah. The SEC's got 5 of the top 7.
No,
Yes.
but you only care about the top dogs. That's all the country cares about. I don't care. Missouri folk care about Missouri. I get that. But the rest of us, we just care about 2 or 3 teams. As you get 70 teams, nothing's going to change. It's still going to be the same 5 or 6 teams that are contending for the whole thing at the end like they always do.
Tennessee and Texas, you buying into the hype of those two?
Teams can occasionally rise up, and obviously Texas has the resources and has the history and all that. So, yes, when Texas is good, that's not news. When Texas is bad, that's news.
4 of the top 5. And then with Missouri, they got 5 of the top 9 in the polls
Well,
now.
They just ought to put in, why 70? Just go like 8. And just have them play each other, have their own playoff. The country where the people were the passion for college football, which is sort of here, but nothing
like
compared to there.
Right.
Just have those if that's what you're going to do. I mean, that's where the top players go mostly, and blah blah blah, on and on. And the good thing about football is the rosters are so big that you can have pros everywhere. The Big Sky has representation because it is as much as it's a tangible sport, it's also an intangible sport with heart and all that stuff. It's the one sport where you can overcome. And so guys are in the pros from everywhere. As long as Josh Allen is going to be playing, they're going to be touting him in Laramie and in the whole state of Wyoming, right? And then, I don't know how long, but there'll be a time when he retires, but somebody else in Wyoming will come along. That's the way it goes there. But in the other parts of the country, they're going to have 10, 15, 20, 30 guys.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
Knicks Minnesota Timberwolves trade is finally done. It's official. Karl Anthony Towns posting on social media. He's on to New York. Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo will be able to work out with the Timberwolves in their training camp, and Charlotte gets 2 second-round picks. And Luka Doncic will miss at least a week with a calf contusion picked up in practice. So let the NBA injuries and the chronicling of them begin.
The preseason, I don't want to hear about injuries unless they're. I'm going to go Whittingham on this. I'm not going to talk about them unless they're season ending.
Nice. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Detroit Tigers beat the Houston Astros 5-2, snapping a 7-year streak of making at least the ALCS for Houston in the process. They are out. The division series will now begin with Detroit facing Cleveland this weekend.
Every year, this is baseball. You got 2 games. It's not a total crapshoot.
But it's a pretty big roll of the dice.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But at the same time, I told you the Padres are my favorite, and they've looked awesome. And the Braves got a little karma because they wouldn't move the series last week to New York or wherever because of the rain, and then they had to play the doubleheader, get on the plane, fly across the country, and then they came out flat, and now it's over.
Yep. Padres knocked the Braves out with a 5-4 win. The Tigers knocked out the Astros with a 5-2 win. And, man, you want your pitching and defense. How about the Royals? After winning 1-0, they beat the Orioles 2-1. There's some pitching and defense to get the Royals through to the next round. Bring on the Yankees.
Yeah, we'll see what they can do in the next round. The only team I could see beating the Padres is the Phillies, possibly. I don't see any team in the American League. But we'll see. It's baseball, man. That's the beauty of it, is you just don't know.
Tigers are hot. Now, they haven't been as hot as the Padres have been. The Padres have been hot since the All-Star break.
They got a long way to go.
Yeah?
You got to win.
31-13.
Right, and they went 12-1 against the White Sox.
The Gimmies.
Come on.
Beating up on the poor dysfunctional White Sox.
Right.
Come here, Chicago.
Do they make the playoff if they're in another division and they can't get 12 easy gimme wins?
Yeah. Line these guys up.
Yeah. If the Tigers, and I got family in Detroit, so I've been a long-time Tiger fan, going back to Willie Horton, that if...
Willie Horton, huh?
Yeah, Willie Horton.
Okay.
Al Kaline.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, yeah, and then later, wow, Whitaker and Trammell, Gibby. Yeah, absolutely,
Sorry,
man.
I didn't mean to
I know my roots. If the Tigers should win the World Series, I think they should give player shares to the White Sox.
Thanks, guys. Way to prop us up. One series continues on with a Game 3 tonight. You already referenced you'll be watching it, 5 o'clock ESPN. The Brewers beat the Mets 5-3. The Mets have won Game 1, so we got a Game 3 tonight. The winner will play the Philadelphia Phillies.
Since I've been informed that I have to eat dinner in the 4 o'clock hour, I'll be ready to go at 5 o'clock. Old lady playing pickleball. We're eating dinner early. You got a problem with that? No.
Got it. Sounds good.
Be able to put the feet up, watch the Mets and the Phillies.
Me and the dog.
Despite comments that he might be an option to take the mound as the playoffs progress in Los Angeles, Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani is not expected to pitch for the team in the postseason, coming off that Tommy John surgery. So,
yeah, unless he's Bob Gibson, I don't get him anywhere near the mound. And maybe he could be Bob Gibson. I don't know.
But you're not going to let him near the mound to find out.
Certainly not this year.
There's
and,
no
and
reason.
I don't know about going forward. When you're that prolific,
I do not want your bat out of the lineup.
yeah, because there's no way he has these kinds of numbers. That's just not going to happen because I doubt you're going to pitch and then be right in the lineup the next day as the DH. You know what I mean? I mean, these numbers, you want to talk about numbers that are truly astounding? I don't know. That's
Nice. That was from the question, people, if you didn't recognize it.
I mean, these numbers truly are astounding.
They really are. The 50 homers, the 50 stolen bases, which actually went to 54 and 59.
Yeah.
Remarkable. And so many clutch hits in there. Not he's not the guy who hits a solo homer in the 8-1 game in the 8th inning to make it ace
he's
two.
batting first. After Betts went down, they moved him up. So you're putting up those types of RBI numbers batting first. Normally, you're down 2 or 3 spots.
Normally. But the new analytics logic says get him more at bats, so move him to the top of the lineup.
I think also to the DH. You don't have the automatic out or the bunt. So there's more guys. There's opportunities for that. But, man, I would be really hesitant to try to curtail that just prolific offensive production.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag RSL.
They came in and sat back, and again, I think their central defenders did a really good job defending the box, and it's always going to be tough to score a goal against a team that drops in and puts a lot of numbers in and around the box. It comes down to making plays. We have 2, 3 really, really good chances that we just didn't capitalize on, but the other positive is going back from the Austin game is where we defended the box really poorly. So you go back to the Portland game, we didn't defend set pieces really well. You go to the Austin game, we didn't defend the box well, and we did both of those things tonight.
Pablo Mastroeni happy with the shutout, but his team got shut out, so for the 3rd straight game, they split the points after that scoreless game with Minnesota. RSL had the 3 best chances, well, probably the 4 best chances, didn't finish any of them. Chicho had 3 shots on goal. They all got saved. One he shot straight at the keeper. That was on him, but the last one looked like a goal, and Dane St. Clair made a great save.
Who?
Dane St. Clair.
Is that like Dane Green?
The taller and more athletic.
Okay.
But other than that, yeah.
Green or St. Clair?
St. Clair.
Okay.
Nice. So RSL drops to 4th place. Seattle won and moves past them. And so RSL now in 4th, and guess who's 5th? Sitting there for a potential playoff matchup? Houston. And Houston still has a chance to pass them and claim home field. There's a chance that RSL could be 5 and Houston could be 4. 2 games to go. There's still lots of possible combinations, but that one's staring them in the face. Houston's knocked them out of multiple tournaments over the last 2 years. So RSL's going to play last place San Jose Saturday. San Jose actually did just win last night, so see if they can
Houston
get
knocked
the
them
win.
out of a CONCACAF?
Houston knocked him out of the Leagues Cup this year.
Oh.
And Houston knocked him out of the MLS playoffs last year.
Oh, I
Houston
remember.
knocked him out of the Open Cup last year. So that's
And all
that's
that all that time with Houston, and you don't know the backup goalie. I think you are guilty.
Yeah, he didn't play. DJ and PK.
#golf.
The Sanderson Farms Championship is underway in Jackson, Mississippi. Zach Blair, Patrick Fishburne are in the field in the last tour event before they come to Utah for the Black Desert Championship next week. The countdown is on.
We got a tournament in Utah next week?
1 week from today.
I'll be gall darned.
It all gets going in St. George. Ivans, actually.
Yeah.
You got the point.
Had the golf channel on the radio, and they were interviewing Jadon Blake yesterday when I got in the car.
Oh, yeah? Some of those quotes sound familiar?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's excited. He's St. George native. I mean, he probably couldn't imagine this as a kid.
Absolutely not.
And he's, 65 now?
Yep. Everything's coming full circle. He's getting his 500th start a mile from where he grew up.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It really is. Patrick Manning, managing partner of the Black Desert Resort, will join us coming up in our next segment. So we'll talk about the tournament, the preparations, how you can get in and see it. If you are so inclined, we'll talk with him in about 10 minutes. DJ and PK.
#NHL.
Robert Bortuzzo in the high slot to Doan as he walks it out to the line. This tips in and they score! Doan to Yamamoto. Two guys trying to make a point, and they tie the game with 5:55 left here in the first. This is Liam O'Brien trying to wrap it around. They score! O'Brien fed it in front, and Andrew Agozzino was able to bash it in, and it's 4-2. Still plenty of time left here in the third.
Utah Hockey Club loses to the Ducks in Anaheim 5-2. Kyler Yamamoto, Andrew Agozzino score for the Utah Hockey Club in the loss. Utah Hockey Club faces Colorado at the Maverick Center Saturday evening. So if you want to go see a preseason game at the Maverick Center.
Last preseason game before the regular season begins.
This is it. On the 8th, right?
Yeah.
Chicago coming to town. Get one of the original 6. The Blackhawks will be here to get it underway in 5 days. Look at that week next week. Actually, you lined the schedule up a while ago. The hockey opener, the PGA Tour, and Utah and BYU with big games on Friday and Saturday.
I know.
It's quite the week.
Yeah, in terms of diversity of sports, I don't know that we'll ever have a week like that.
Yeah. That is what is trending. Brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. All right, Barry Trammell will join us, sports columnist for the Tulsa World. He'll be here at 8 o'clock to talk Big 12 football. Patrick Manning, managing partner of the Black Desert Resort, joins us next. Stay with us.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
The same people for the last 3 years who've been telling me that Cam Rising is an all-conference quarterback that should be considered for the Heisman Trophy are now the exact same people who are saying, well, should Isaac Wilson start? Should Isaac Wilson be the guy? Should they go with Isaac Wilson? Was he the all-conference Heisman guy or not? Because if he was the all-conference Heisman guy, you would never consider starting a true freshman. And Isaac Wilson's done fine, but it's not like he's lit the world on fire with 3 400-yard games or whatever. This is a guy who the same people have been telling me for years is actually better than Caleb Williams. He's actually better than Fingernails, Ben. Did you know that? But who won? Huh? Who won? That same person is now going, well, I don't know if they should start Cam, even if he's healthy. What? Am I taking crazy pills?
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Please nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the prestigious Hercules Hero of the Week. Go ahead and submit your nomination at KSLSports.com/contests. And then here's what you do. You listen every Thursday afternoon to The Good Guys. JJ and Alex are the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers who make an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week. And it's sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and also Beehive Meals. Right on.
The PGA Tour returns to Utah after 60 years.
Yeah, I
More
covered
than
the
60.
first one.
You did not. That'd be the last one. The first one. I don't even know how long ago
I
that'd
know.
be.
I didn't say the last one. I said the first one.
You did not. I know they played the Western Open at Bonneville once a time. I've seen a little display in the pro shop up there, or in the restaurant area, wherever it was. Now it's Black Desert Resort, and we are joined
The Big Cheese, the Big Kahuna.
The managing partner of the Black Desert Resort, Patrick Manning. Patrick, good morning.
Good morning, DJ PK. How are you guys?
Good.
We are good. We are ready to go. Are you almost ready to go? You got a little less than a week now to the Pro-Am, and then it's on.
Yeah, we're ready. It's been a super heavy lift. We've had high school teams and college teams coming out and sweeping and doing stuff and helping, and it's been great having the community chip in.
I don't want to say this is a culmination of a lifelong dream. That's probably too dramatic. But this is something that you've been working on for a long time, and it was always out there in the distance. Well, now it's not out there in the distance. It's basically right around the corner. What are your emotions as something that you envisioned a long time ago, and here it is right on the brink of happening?
I think the word that comes to mind is surreal. I mean, it's kind of just like floating out there, watching everything happen, and it's like I'm not actually really here. It's very surreal, but it's exciting. I mean, that emotion isn't lost.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you're expecting as far as the community, and not just the local community of the state, because obviously there's going to be people driving down from the Wasatch Front. What's capacity for the course? Are you sold out? And I guess every day is different, so it's multiple events. What do you think that is going to look like? Where does it stand now?
Yeah, where it stands right now is our the bulk of the ticketing is general admission. We are sold out on Friday, Saturday. We'll probably be sold out on Sunday by tomorrow, I'm guessing. And we still got some decent availability on that Wednesday Pro-Am that's open to the public, which would be a lot of fun for people because it's a more intimate experience, as I'm sure you know. So it'd be fun to get some of those tickets. I think they're like $60, $55, something like that. But yeah, ticketing is going very good. But for it to be sold out or almost entirely sold out in its first year is pretty amazing, and a testimony to how Utahns show up for things that are fun and entertaining in their state.
Now, we've been down there. I've been down there many times. I've toured the course, played the course, everything, and I've talked to you 100 times about it. And from my and also other people who are working there, from my, I don't want to say experience, but from my conversations, I guess, that the idea of, and I've seen this in Phoenix, my hometown, I've seen it outrageous with the crowds they get there. The golf is the centerpiece, right? There's no doubt about it. But it often is more than golf, and with activities and other things going on to be able to enjoy the entire experience. And that's what I'm looking forward to, getting down there and talking to people, whether they be for the general admission or whether they be in the other areas that are watching and just enjoying. The weather's going to be good, all that stuff. And so explain how it's more than just the golf tournament is the centerpiece, no doubt about it, but it's an experience that you can have a lot of fun with, even if you're not, like we are, big-time golf fans.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that people that aren't even golf fans will have just as much fun as the people who are, because all the socializing, and I'm super excited about introducing Black Desert Resort, the resort itself, with the golf being one component of that resort, to the world. I'm excited that we're bringing the PGA tournament to Southern Utah, or to Utah in general, and being able to show the world that this is this might be the most unique location and destination for golf on the entire tour. So, I mean, sharing all of that with everyone is probably the highlight of this whole thing.
Do you know 100% who's going to be there now, or are there still surprises? If a guy has an injury, can guys pull out? How locked down is that, and who do you know that's coming?
Well, we, a bunch of them. It's not locked in until Monday, which is unfortunate for some of the guys that might get squeezed out at the very last minute, but that's how the tour works. You've heard guys with Mike Weir and Jadon Blake and Kihei Akina and Peter Quest and Patrick Fishburne and Zach Blair. I can tell you that we have in the field locked in 5 guys that have already won on tour in this season. We have 5 guys that have won at least 4 times on the PGA Tour. We have 4 guys that have won at least 4 times on the tour, and we have 2 guys that have won at least 6 times on the tour. And so we have a pretty amazing field in year one and really exceeded our expectations.
Well, something you just said there, and again, my conversations with you, I know what you're thinking to a degree. Year one, meaning this is just the start, and this baby's growing from here, correct?
That's right. Yeah, this is. We plan to have both the men and the women playing here every, basically a tournament every 6 months for the next 20 years. So that's not how long our contract is. But both parties, or all 3 parties, all want to do this forever.
Advise people who haven't been to the course, where should they go if they have tickets or if they're planning on getting them for earlier in the week? Where should they go to watch? What are the sweet spots? Because with the lava, which is what makes the course so unique, and I'm sure we'll hear that on the Golf Channel, but not everywhere is available like it might be at another course.
Yeah, well, my advice, unless you've got elevated VIP hospitality tickets, and because those are like designated areas on the 18th green, 16, 17 green, and so on, if you're general admission, I recommend making a beeline right to the Fan Village. That's an elevated mesa that you can actually, from one spot, well, you have to walk around on the mesa, but you can follow hole 10 and then all 3 finishing holes, 16, 17, 18, from one spot. It'll be activated. There's food, restrooms, there's leaderboards. It's activated. But then from there, I would recommend, once you've explored Fan Village and done that, move over and go see the general admission stands on 15, which is a par 3, which everybody loves a par 3. And there's big grandstands on the 15 tee. And then go down and look on the 15 green. Then go down and look at the 15 tee, because then you look south from there. That might be the most amazing vista that we have across the 13 and 11 lakes. Just an amazing spot to catch some golf. And then you can make it down if you want to keep going and make it down to there's some stands on the 7th green, which is another jaw-dropping hole. But my first advice is go to the Fan Village.
There'll be a lot of folks coming down from our way, and even if the folks down from south and probably up from Vegas too. Tell us about the parking and all that and how that works.
Yeah, you can go to blackdesertevents.com for tickets and parking information and all that. But the short answer is we can park about 3,000 cars on site, and there will be shuttles, like golf cart shuttles taking people to the gates and things like that. And then we also have Tuacahn Amphitheater has been a great partner. They're allowing us to use their parking. So everybody who has a ticket has a designated spot, or not a stall, but a lot.
Yeah.
And then we have nonstop shuttles back and forth, getting people to the course.
I know the official opening is still next spring. You're putting together things as quickly as you can. Personally, you're probably a little disappointed that they've paved so much, because it looked like you really enjoyed off-roading.
Yeah.
We've all seen you accelerate.
I'm kind of glad to see the pavement at Black Desert, though. So there's plenty of places for me to go drive in the dirt.
What are people going to see that's still under construction? Because obviously you got another 6 months here before your official opening. So last time I was there, and things changed a lot in the month or so in between my last 2 trips there. Is there still a gigantic hole in the ground that people will recognize as future parking, or is stuff happening there? And what else are you doing that people can see that's in progress?
Well, yeah, so if I could bifurcate what'll be done versus what is still happening, we have a couple hundred rooms open. I have stayed at Black Desert now, which was another surreal moment. But we do have we had an E4A charity tournament, and we had Drew Brees and Danny Ainge and Greg Maddox staying at the resort, and so that was fun. So we do have the resort open. It's just a very, very soft opening. But we'll have, next week we'll have multiple restaurants open. We'll have convention center open and rooms. You will still see the big hole where there's, the equivalent of 4 Super Walmart parking lots underground. You won't see it as well because now we have screening around all the construction areas. But the Golf Village is now known as the Terrace, is still under construction. The Cove, which used to be called Family Village, is under construction. But those things are going to come so fast. When the LPGA gets here, almost all of that's going to be open. And so we have enough to entertain the entire PGA tournament on site this year. So, next week when we open, we're the largest thing in Southern Utah. We just have a long way to go over the next 3 or 4 years to finish out the resort.
Tell us also about that thing that you're having for the in-state folks. I think you had told me that it's going to start on Monday and it's going to run through like March, maybe April, as far as a deal. And is the course going to be open Monday and all that stuff?
Yeah, so the course will be officially open the Wednesday after the tournament. Monday is a private event. Tuesday we're closed for maintenance, so Wednesday is the official reopening of the course. Because we were going to open in the spring of 25, but then we had a hard date of having to open for the PGA tournament. We were like, what are we going to do between the opening of the tournament and the grand opening? And we just came up with this offer for Utahns, like, let's have a preview period. And so this preview period is incredible. I mean, I'm not selling this. I'm encouraging people to come experience Black Desert. For $199, you can go to blackdesertresort.com, put in promo code Utah. You do have to show a Utah driver's license or state-issued ID at check-in, but you would get $199 for your stay, plus including a $50 resort credit. So basically come stay for $199 and get a $50 meal on us to come experience. And we're doing that because we want to give back to Utah, but also we want your feedback.
You've told me a couple stories I found pretty interesting, and they're very unconventional for golf courses and resorts. But we've got a lot of golfers who will be making their first trip there, and a lot of people who golf also like to fish. So tell the story about what you're doing with the ponds and the fish and the Virgin River and the professor at Utah Tech.
Yeah, so we hired about a little over a year ago an environmental scientist. His name's Dr. Platt. And we said, put together a white paper, like tell us what we can do to be the best stewards of this land that we're protecting. What can we do? And so he put together a big plan, and we're going to become a breeding ground for the desert tortoise, like a designated sanctuary breeding ground. We were approved by the Division of Wildlife Resources because of how we're handling the land with the lakes. We became an approved spot for the Virgin River chub, an endangered species, and now have over 400 endangered fish species thriving in our lakes. So we really embrace being good stewards of the land, and we're only developing about 35% of the land in Ivins that we have. The rest is protected.
The Professor, PK, is straight out of Central Casting. If you ordered up a professor for your next movie, they would send this guy over. And I'm talking to him, waiting to shoot something, and he's explaining about, it's the fish, we put them in the ponds. And I'm like, well, the ponds must warm up. I mean, it's really hot, right? He goes, well, so did the Virgin River. It's what they do. And so I went down diving, and he's telling me how he went diving in the morning to the bottom of the pond to check on the fish at the bottom of the pond. And this guy's, I don't know, he's incredible. So, crazy story.
Yeah, always wear binoculars unless he's diving in the lake.
Exactly, right? All right, well, Patrick, we appreciate it. Thanks for taking a few minutes with the countdown on. Less than a week to the Pro-Am now. And look forward to seeing you and all the golf down there next weekend.
Yep, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys.
All right, we'll see you again. Thank you, Patrick. Patrick Manning. Yep. Managing partner of the Black Desert Resort, bringing the PGA Tour to Utah. The field officially set Monday. That's the way it works. We just watched the golf on the weekend, all the drama behind the scenes, guys wondering if they're going to get in, get a chance to make some money.
You hear about this guy got in at the end, and here he is on Sunday and all that stuff.
Yep.
I don't know what will happen here. We'll see. But I'm very eager to see the professionals play that up close and take part of it. I think it's going to be it's going to be a memorable event because there's only one time and all that stuff, and they'll continue to do it and grow from here. And I know I can't say some of the stuff that I've heard because it's not for public release, but this thing is just barely getting started here.
He mentioned that in passing about it's going to take 3 or 4 years to build it out, and what he wants, stuff he wants to build and events he wants to bring. We'll see how much of it can be pulled off, but he's thinking big.
And that's just this property. He's got some other property that there'll be some other stuff down the road too.
You've been to the PGA Tour in Phoenix. You've been to the LA Open at Riviera. You've been to the tournament in the desert, the San Diego. Been to Torrey Pines.
Yeah.
Have you gone on Pro-Am days versus going to the tournament proper?
Yeah.
Because he was talking about, early in the interview, he was talking about it's a different experience. And I wonder, and I know you've got stories about your wife saying something, not really a conversation per se, but saying something and getting a reaction. And I wonder how much more of that happens on Wednesday as opposed to...
Well, it's way looser, obviously.
Right.
It's golf, but it's also a public relations event to grow the game. And I think by and large, golfers are pretty good at that, developing, growing their sport, interacting with the fans if possible. If there's bad stuff to be done, that's what the caddies do.
Put that camera down, hold still.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's usually later in the week.
All right, when the tensions grows.
Right, and we see that occasionally from time to time. But this is a far more relaxed atmosphere, and there's fewer people, so you can move about the course. The flow is easier and all that stuff to be able to enjoy that, to check that stuff out, and that's fun too from that perspective. And occasionally you may know somebody. A lot of it is corporate types of people who have the opportunity to be in there. The whole time from Wednesday morning to Sunday afternoon, I think it's going to be a groundbreaking, monumental event at this level. And, I've been around Patrick Manning now for over almost 2 years. And this guy's vision, it's really something that he has, and he's going to get it done. He's a doer, and he's understated. Reminds me a little bit of Larry Miller, actually. He's a little more understated than Larry, but just, wearing Levi's, just bouncing around, doing his thing. Not an imposing figure, but just his mind is always thinking in that way.
That reminds me of a great Larry Miller story. It was when they had the WNBA here. It wasn't the first game, but it was the team's first time through, so it was pretty early on. And I was talking to the PR person from LA because I don't know what, I needed some interview or something. And we're standing by the tables where we used to sit in those first 4 rows. And she looks and goes, "Hey, if you see Larry Miller here, will you point him out to me?" I said, "Yeah, he's that guy walking across the court right there." And he was walking over to his seats. And she goes, totally unfiltered. She goes, "Dang, it's always the people who have money who look like they don't have money."
Yeah.
And I'm thinking in LA, she's probably around a lot of, celebrities, wannabes, and they're trying to sell it. And
Patrick's an unassuming man, but he's got great vision. And I don't mean literally. I guess his vision is probably fine too, but I'm talking about his ideas.
But as far as ideas for what to build, what to do, what events to do.
It's hard to keep up with him because he's thinking about one and he's already on to the 4th one after that. I've had numerous conversations with him now on the phone, texting, in person. Blah, blah, blah. I'm a golf guy. I know, I'm obviously, but I think it goes beyond that. It's gonna be huge, just huge.
Just one thing: drone shows nonstop, and I don't know that they're starting yet. I know they've had some tests and had people out there, and he was telling stories about people stopping on the parkway and the cops having to come out and move traffic along. But the long-term plan, and maybe it's actually short-term. I don't know on the time, but the long-term plan: drone shows every night. And that's just tip of the iceberg. I mean, it's just one thing after another with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, DJ and PK, Barry Trammell's going to join us coming up in about 15 minutes. Big 12 football with the sports columnist for the Tulsa World. Stay with us.
It's official. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone is your official radio home of the Utah Hockey Club. When the puck hits the ice this fall, you'll hear every goal, every check, and every tension-filled moment right here on the Zone. Your exclusive home of the NHL and the Utah Hockey Club in Utah is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, the band of the day today is Motley Crue. Tommy Lee turning 61. It's brought to you by Live Nation. For all the live concert events in 2024, check out livenation.com. DJ and PK, we got questions up on our Facebook page. You get more to this coming up at 8:30 this morning. But Riley got you thinking, PK.
Did get you thinking?
A little bit.
What he had you thinking?
Cam Rising spotted an event wearing what appears to be a splint on his injured right hand. It's a time for him to start playing. And Riley is a vehement, yes, he's practiced. He's got to get out there. He's got to play.
Understood.
Coming out of the bye week.
I think he does.
Cam or bust. And then you just heard Kyle Whittingham right there.
I think it's Cam or Wilson.
Literally. Thank you.
Yeah. That's where I would go. But at that point, man, you're halfway through the season. What do you do? If he's not ready to go 6 weeks after, it's kind of crazy.
Crazy that it would happen 2 years in a row. And yet here we are with weekly Cam Rising updates.
Yeah, and at that point, I mean, if he's not ready to go, I guess you wait another week, but, if he doesn't play, do you really want him coming back next year and go through this again? 3-4 years of his 8th year? It'd be getting silly. 26-year-old turning 27. Then no.
It's not college anymore.
No. And I realize there's money to be made, but that's an abuse of the system. I don't think it'll happen anyway, but if it did, it's time to cut bait. But yeah, if he's really close, according to the head coach, then he's got to come back. If you got 2 weeks, if you're not ready to go after being really close and you had another 2 weeks,
then you're not making progress. It's not getting better. It's not healing. And then back to your point about, well, what about the rest of the year?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, obviously, but something's got to be done, and you got to think about what's best for the team at that point, which I'm sure it's all what they're doing anyway. But I fully expect him to play. This is the first time in 3 weeks. Now, I haven't talked to anybody this week because it's a bye week and it doesn't really matter. It's not game week. Game week is when
it matters.
It's just that.
Right.
So let's go as far as waiting, and I'll touch with folks next week to see what's up and who's taking the reps. But I'm in my mind, he's playing. He's playing against the Devils.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5 The Zone. The Utes already have a loss. Will you be able to get to the Big 12 title game with 2 losses? Is the league going to beat itself up? We'll talk with Barry Trammell about that, sports columnist for the Tulsa World. He joins us next.